Hey, creativity is an addiction. We have to have it. We crave it from others. We steal from others. We borrow it. We pay for it. But we've got to have other people's creativity. Here's the thing. You're just as creative, but you sit there and you hoard it for yourself. You don't want to listen to it. You don't want to play with it or build with it. Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally Uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged.
Hey, it's Arroe, and this is Defrag. Defrag is more than just being a daily writer. It's more than being a poet or just a writer in general. What it's doing is it's sitting down with yourself and asking the questions. Don't bring judgment against yourself, but you listen to the answers. And then what happens? When you defrag, you question the answers. And you begin to develop a stronger, better relationship with whoever you are as a person. You don't have to be a creative person in the way of releasing your art. If we all took the time to defrag a little bit more, to understand the ins, the outs, the ups and downs of a life in full forward motion, I think that, there'd be a little bit more peace on the streets rather than assumption. Breaking free of your entrapment. I mean, you put yourself in corners all the time. And then what you do is you either run into a wall of procrastination, dread, doubt, fear, but you don't really get to the bottom of what it is that is fueling the situation. When I personally get wrapped up into those emotional holes, the first thing that I want to do is I want to start asking questions. So, dude, what's going on? Where's your mindset? How do you think you got here? And on paper, what I'll do is I'll write out the answers. And when you physically see your answer right there in front of you, it's reaching beyond the art of listening. Now you've brought sight into the photo, and you're able to look at what you were feeling by way of the emotion being set free. So the subject that we're going to talk about today is one that's consistently on my mind, but I've never really dove into asking the right questions at the right time. Remember, ask yourself questions. Who are you? Does a spouse or a sister ever say that to you? Who do you think you are? Can you answer that? And then the answer that you put down, question it. Ask the questions, then question the answers. This is defrag. And by the way, I defrag while taking what's called a transition walk. Jazzy and I are in a forest right now in South Charlotte, North Carolina. The sky is beautiful. It's got very thin clouds. The temperature currently is 43 degrees, so it's a little edgy when it comes to warmth. But you can hear the breeze in the background. I'm sure you're going to hear it as we take this walk. But our subject today is dread. This is defrag. I was shocked to read that the definition of dread is clearly connected to uncertainty. We are uncertain, so therefore we dread doing something. Well, in doing that, I thought, well, wait a second. When I dread doing something, am I not procrastinating? And believe it or not, there is a dreadful procrastinator. It is a mental condition. And you find yourself going, hold on a second here. Can I be both? Can I be filled with dread as well as be a procrastinator? That's like getting hit with the cold and the flu. You're going, no, come on, one or the other, right? And the thing is about when I dread, and I'm sure I am not the only one, and when I bring this up, there's a big chance you're going to go, amen. When we dread, it costs us. It could be monetarily, it could be through love, but it costs us. Because when we dread and we wait till the absolute last minute to do something like procrastination, then what happens is that our bills are late. Our friendships are late. We don't show up for other things, opportunities at a job. So to be filled with dread and being a procrastinator, it is a double whammy. And you've got to learn how to not only recognize it, but to be ready to go when it comes to change. And when I say beaten, I don't mean like beating down a tree or beating down yourself to where you have no energy at all. Beaten as in, we're going to sit down and I'm going to ask some questions. And those questions are exactly what Julia Cameron puts in her brand new book, which is called Right for Life. Talk about your fears, your doubts. What is it about this project that really brings up that feeling of dread and or procrastination? Write down 5 things that you feel and why you think those emotions come forward. See, I'm not the only one who believes that when you put it on paper and you physically see who you are and where you are in the moment, you embrace that aspect of what you're going to become. Because we all assume that we are this person. Oh my God, I do this, I'm that person. But when it really breaks down, are you? Or are you just playing out a role, a part? This is who I envision. I mean, you see it on social media all the time. This is this picture and this picture and this picture, and you go, wow, did that really happen? Because they make it look like that it was fun, that they were like the life of the party. And then when you talk to them in person, you get that dreaded sound of, I don't know, man. I'm full of angst. God, we just had a night out, but your picture said something differently. Now look at yourself in real life. Who you are portraying in life, is it who you are on the inside? Let's defrag that. Do you dread answering that question? Who are you on the inside? Oh, I have conversations with that monkey all the time. And that monkey is ready to talk whenever I'm willing to listen. But when I listen through a defrag journal, that means writing. And the greatest thing about writing, this is not like writing books. What it is, it's a physical conversation that, that's been transcribed. And you can go back anytime. You can talk to a future self, or you can talk to a future reader. And through your struggles, you can teach a world that's basically going through the same crap you are. So you have to take on dread and procrastination in a way of being the student, not the victim. Put it away. Be the student. Learn from it. Then in your own way, your personality, teach it. Is it a pain in the ass? Of course it is. And it's also a very weary journey, because it seems like the only thing you live is in the gloom, because you're trying to figure out what this darkness is all about, or this null and void. And it's like, I want to be fixed overnight. And it doesn't work that way, because it took you how long to get into this moment of right now? Right now doesn't mean right now. Right now is a series of building blocks, and part of those building blocks has been, dread and procrastination. I want to give you a good example of how when you face the blocks in your life, how there is a victory or some sort of peace on the other side. I have been dreading today all week, because I know today is a day in the studio where I make a lot of transitions to the digital format. That takes a lot of time. And I also know that today is bill paying day, and I have a lot of bills. And so I had two things that I dread sitting right there in front of me. I told my writing self, I said, look, dude, I realize Saturdays are your writing day, and you get to do stuff for future episodes of the Lyrics from Billy's Forest, and you get to do things for Stream Thinking. Man, I'm not on your side today, because I have so much dread and procrastination going through my system right now. I just want to prepare you that I'm going to be your letdown. I'm so sorry, but I'm your letdown today. I wasn't going to let that get into my heart and poison all my views and my expectations of a Saturday. Like I said, this is my writing day. How dare I stand in front of the writer? And that was my dread, and it was my procrastination. Why don't I do this a different day? Because you're busy. You've always got something in the way. Julia Cameron calls that a block. Well, you're standing right there in front of your blocks. You create those blocks. Why don't you ask the questions? Who built that block? Now, whatever answer you get back, question the answers. That's what defragging is all about. And see, the greatest thing about this is that when you defrag in a beautiful journal, the greatest thing about it is that it's a conversation with you. It doesn't involve anybody else. So the positive in my dread and procrastination today was that it didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it would with the transferring of sound to digital and to pay the bills. The dread made it feel like that it was going to be several hours of hard work, loyalty, and oh my God, I would be sweating up a big storm. No, not at all. And I remember that when I was shutting off the computer inside the studio, I literally said, dude, you get to write today. And I felt it. I felt something other than dread and procrastination. It was like, I get to write today. Not only do I get to write today, but I'm going to leave open enough space to where I can read a chapter of Julia Cameron's new book, Write for Life. It's like, wait a second. You faced the walls of dread and procrastination, and you get to not only write, but you get to read. You get to study what other people go through. See what I mean? You got to defrag. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not trying to sell anything. All I want you to do is to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and look at yourself on paper and be truth-filled. Be faith-filled. Know where you are. Because I don't want to ever hear a story about you where you're an aging person and your grandchild comes up and gives you the answer that my mother gave me many, many times over my years with her. Mom, you showed all that enthusiasm. Mom, tell me about this. I don't remember, son. I don't remember. That always hurt. And that's one of the reasons why I became a daily writer, which has led to all these other forms of writing. Because if I do get to that point where I don't remember, I didn't procrastinate, nor did I dread when it came to writing. I'm Arroe, and that's Defrag.